Sports Park is standing ready to host the Jani-King 200 as 37 cars prepare to get underway.
On behalf of tens of thousands of Jani-King franchisees, customers, and employees around the world, gentlemen, start your engines!
All right then, hello everybody, I'm Bob Dillner, Jim Trado and Sandy Hang on pit road. Buddy Baker will be with me in the booth, but right now he is on the track. And Buddy, this track has the best of both worlds as a big track, doesn't it, Mr. Buddy Baker? Because you know a lot about this racetrack.
Long, major speedway straightaways, very tight corners. Always exciting, but one thing that can happen as you come down these long straightaways, the preferred line is right on the bottom of the racetrack. There's a blind spot on the left rear quarter of these race cars. If you don't know a guy's there and you cut down to get to that preferred line on the bottom, boy, it's a wreck right away, because when he touches you, in 1 second, you're in the outside wall and out of the race.
Nobody wants to be out of today's race, including the guys who are in the title chase. And these are the top 5 guys. Joey Clanton leads Gary St. Amant by 42 markers. David Stremme 60 points behind Kevin Sawinski. This is a 4-horse race. He's also still in the mix. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Jani-King 200 presented by Flash Market. On the first 2 rows, Joey Clanton, Butch Miller, Robbie Pyle, and Gary St. Amant. 2 of the top 4 guys in points. Joey Clanton is back on the prowl.
Joey Clanton got back on track last race at Toledo, picking up his 8th win of the season. Now he's won here before at Memphis. How do you plan on making it win number 9 this year, Joey?
Well, the biggest thing is just keeping this car clean all day long, keeping it out front. I mean, the Campfire USA car was great yesterday, and we'll just try to stay out front and win this thing again, bring it home, another win at Memphis.
Gary St. Amant is starting in 4th. He's got Joey Clanton in front of him, and behind him, David Stremme and Kevin Sawinski. What does he do? Watch his rearview mirror or put the heat on Joey?
Well, you know, I think this is a good racetrack for Joey. He's going to take care of himself here. You know, we just need to race David and Kevin here hard and, you know, stay in front of them. And later on in the year, we can get that points lead and get our 3rd championship.
The other 2 guys in the title chase are in the next 2 rows, Kevin Sawinski and David Stremme. Kevin in the 3rd row, David in the 4th row. How about 17-year-old Casey Smith turning things around here in ASA?
Young Casey Smith was wrapped up in this crash at Toledo Speedway last race with Greg Stewart. Now the Black 08 is within the top 10 in qualifying here at Memphis. Casey, what do you hope to accomplish today?
Well, we hope to just have a good, solid top 10 run and see if we can't learn something from St. Amant and Clanton. They're right in front of me, and be here at the end of 200 laps.
Starting 9th, David Hall. He crashed really hard here in testing, hurt his foot. Danny Fredrickson, Peter Cozzolino, and 16-year-old Reed Sorensen. Todd Cleaver from Wisconsin hoping to turn things around. Travis Kittleson back here in ASA. In the next couple of rows, Bill Clemens, Jason Boyd, the birthday boy, Ed Brown, and Kyle Busch. Kyle running okay here, but what's up, Doc?
When it comes to qualifying, Kyle Busch is like Bugs Bunny going after a carrot. But this week in Memphis, he is in the unusual and uncomfortable position of qualifying 20. What happened?
We actually don't know. The car ran great. It stuck pretty good through the corners, but just might be down a little bit on the straightaways. We don't know. Maybe we got to work on aerodynamics, but we'll come through the field and hopefully get up front.
Starting way back, 21st is the Sequoia number 17 from Mike Garvey. But he told me this morning, I asked him, how about a prediction, Mike? He said, I'm gonna win. Brian Schwartz, Greg Stewart, Greg Edwards, Doug Malik, J.C. Beatty, and Chad Wood in the 14th row. Going a little further back, Richard Fincher. Rich Gardner, the former baseball player, in row number 16. John Webb, his teammate Tootin in the 87, and Big John Silverthorne. Rounding out the field is Chris Cole in the number 4 car. Folks, this race the past couple of years has come right down to the finish. So do not go away. Buckle up. We have the Jani-King 200 presented by Flash Market when we return in Memphis.
One of the keys to victory here today will be this transmission. It's a road racing transmission. Look at these gears inside, bulletproof. You shift up in the third in the center part of the corner because you lose a lot of RPM getting into the corner. When you pick up the throttle, you can shift up in the third. It's like hitting passing gear. They'll use this when they're trying to pass cars today, and also they'll do that in the last 10 laps to secure a victory. This will be part of why a guy will win a race here in Memphis. Jim Trado.
Well, buddy, as critical as shifting is, braking is also a big concern on the high-speed, high-bank racetrack here in Memphis. David Stremmy's team's not going to change their brakes much, but to get woe down, it's critical in turn 3 to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. Better brakes, slowing the car down is critical. They won't use much brake going into turn 1 and 2, but when it comes down to track position and changing position and gaining towards the end of the show, the guys with better brakes on will have a better advantage. Sandy Hang.
A little razor's tape, Bondo, bumping and grinding. That's what ASA short track racing is all about. But here in Memphis, aerodynamics are
in the trouble. You think you're clear to get in the corner under somebody, they cut down, and all of a sudden you're in a big wreck.
Here we go, Joey Clanton and Butch Miller. Buddy Baker, do you know what time it is?
Race time.
Hold on to your lug nuts. It's time to go racing. Joey Clanton with the beat on Butch Miller coming right off the start of this one, and looks like he got through the gears a little better than Butch did.
And Butch Miller in the 04 car running second there is not shifting today. He has a transmission that if he really had to, he could shift, but yesterday in qualifying did not option the changing gears down the straightaway, and still had a very fast race car. Later on in the race, I think it'll help him because you need that traction off the corner. If you spin the wheels, you get in trouble here.
You saw Robbie Pyle just behind Butch Miller battling it out with the AC Delco number 7 for Gary St. Amant. We're seeing a lot of side-by-side battling already. You spoke with Butch not shifting. He said, it just messes me up.
Yeah, and David Stremme in that 11 car. As you see Robbie Pyle there on the bottom of the racetrack right now, going by Butch Miller. But look at this race. Gary St. Amant right now and Sawinski down the back straightaway side by side into turn 3.
What's up, Jim Trado?
Well, Kevin Sawinski's whole crew spent the last week and a half trying to get the ignition bugs out of this race car. The Hall of Favor Racing team's been battling that. If you've been watching us on TNN with the ASA series, Sawinski and his entire operation, they've gone through every component on the electronics and the ignition. They've changed it all, so they were trying to avoid what cost them a very costly run. He still got on the podium last race, but he had to work awfully hard to do it. Can't afford any track position loss with ignition cutting out here at Memphis.
Yes, and I went down and looked these cars over. They have one ignition in there. They don't have the dual system like the NASCAR cars have. It's one system, but to clear that system, you can cut the switch off and it clears the computer, and then you go back racing.
But that takes time, and you lose a lot of positions when that happens.
Yeah, but the electronics in this car are quite different from a Western Cup or Busch Grand National car, and that's the reason you don't have double ignition in there.
Oh, trouble. Chris Cole in the number 4 goes around on the racetrack. That will bring out the first caution of the day. Also involved Tim Schmidt in the number 99 white and blue car. But the first caution today flies here at Memphis Motorsports Park. Chris Cole trying to get back to the end of the field here. The spin, there it is. Tim Schmidt goes around. Also involved the 89 of John Webb. Hold on, folks, as we got more coming up. People pick Robbie Pyle going into this race. This race is all about patience. Kevin Sawinski not showing much patience right now because he wants the position on Gary St. Amant. That's the battle for third.
Yes, and this isn't a replay of just a second ago. These guys have been door handle to door handle for quite a few laps, and then we have the caution, and now they're back at it again side by side.
Kevin Sawinski in the Texas Roadhouse number 1 on the inside of Gary St. Amant. Gary with what he called a terrible run in Toledo a couple weeks ago. We look further back in the pack. We see Dan Fredrickson there in the 21, and that's his teammate in the 1, Kevin Sawinski, trying to get 4th spot by Gary St. Amant.
And as you watch Sawinski on the bottom, that's the preferred line, but Gary St. Amant on the outside seems to carry more speed off the corner than Sawinski. So side by side and 2 wide groove right now. So the preferred line, what is it, high or low? It looks like Gary St. Amant says high works.
And Robbie Pyle is saying, hello, Joey Clanton, because I am on your back bumper, so look out. The red rocket for the Sitco 63 is coming on. Robbie Pyle looks strong, buddy.
He is very strong right at the moment. Quicker down the straightaway, also getting in the corner. Able to, trouble here.
Trouble. Chris Douglas in the wall in that number 73 machine.
Yeah, and he's a driving instructor on a school that they have here. I imagine he's a little red-faced at the moment.
Yeah, probably so. Chris Douglas hoping for a good run, but don't know if his day is done, but that car has certainly made contact with the wall. The Race On driving experience number 73 brings out the second caution of the day here in the Jani-King 200 presented by Flash Market. We're seeing some early cautions here. Why, buddy?
Well, right at the moment, wrecks are telling everybody, and if your car is off a little bit, the best time to work on it is when everybody's at half throttle running around here behind the pace car. They come in and work on it.
How about that? Jason Boyd. A great run a couple of weeks ago for Jason Boyd at Toledo. Had a top 5 run going until just the last corner. And Jason is one of those up-and-coming stars here in the ASA Racing Series. Buddy, check this out. Jason Boyd at just a year-and-a-half old. Cute kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he has grown up around the racing world in the short tracks of Florida, of course, because his dad, Dennis, is an engine builder of a lot of those short track cars. And as soon as he could, he picked up the hammers, went to work on his dad's engines. He knows how to turn a wrench or two. And how about that? That is Jason with Dick Anderson, one of his idols. And Jason actually replaced Dick's son Wayne in that Jani-King ride. And then Jason went to work. Cute kid there. A little chubby though.
Wearing his dad's helmet, I hope.
Jason has won plenty of races in the Florida short track scene, modifieds, mini modifieds, and the limited late models. Just started driving the super late models, and now he's in Frankie Grill's Jani-King 86, and in 4 races, 2 top 10 finishes.
Yeah, and when he spun just a couple of weeks back there, he had actually a chance to win the race earlier on, tried to pass Clanton coming out of the corner and spun around. Then he was collected in a last lap wreck, but he would have had a second there.
He said in that wreck with Clanton, the spin, he said it was his mistake. Still learning these BF.
Test of wills here in Memphis for David Hull. They were testing here. He totaled the car so bad they had to get a forklift to get it off the track. He's got a borrowed ride now, bruised right foot, and now you have kidney stones. How are you going to get through this?
I don't know, Sandy. It's tough. This is my 5th kidney stone, so I hope it doesn't bother me today or tomorrow, especially during the race.
Well, he's counting on his crew to make sure that this car doesn't have any vibrations, but he does have a backup plan. He's asked his dad to suit up just in case.
Oh, boy. And there's the whole crew, buddy.
Oh, my goodness. Kidney stones. Wow.
Some things you want to pass on the racetrack, some things you don't, buddy.
I hear you. Let's talk to Gary St. Amant. We have just a lap here before we go back to green. Gary St. Amant, this is Buddy Baker. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Looks like you got the outside groove working pretty well. I was just talking about the inside groove being the preferred line. You got the outside of the racetrack working pretty well there.
Well, you know, our car's a little bit loose on the bottom, so we put the HD Ducko Chevrolet up high, give Kevin the bottom, and he seems to be pretty good up top, buddy.
Okay, we'll talk to you a little later on. Get after him, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Gary St. Amant trying to rebound after a 12th place run at Toledo. Check that out, buddy. A hard hit for Chris Douglas in the wall.
You'll see that all day long. Going in the corner there, 2 cars trying to get in the bottom of the racetrack. That's what happens.
Here we go. Gary St. Amant to the inside of Butch Miller for the 3rd spot. Butch not coming up to speed just as quick as he wanted, but now Kevin Sawinski on the outside of Gary St. Amant.
And Gary St. Amant says his car is loose down on the bottom part of the racetrack, and that's not where he wants to be, as Kevin Sawinski now goes by him.
St. Amant knowing that gives up the spot to Sawinski. He moves to 4th, and now Sawinski putting the heat on the ASI Limited 04 silver car for Miller. Well, look at that battle back in the pack. Casey Smith in the black 08. All sorts of stuff going on there.
David Sturmey right there in the 11 car on the high side of the racetrack as they go around the racetrack. I tell you, Sturmey does not care where he has to pass. If he had to go in the 4th lane up there, he would try. David Sturmey, one of the real upcoming stars in this sport.
Talk about a guy that doesn't care where he puts it. Chris Wimmer makes it 3 abreast on the inside inside and makes the move by David Stremme. Now he's all over Casey Smith in the 08.
Well, Chris Wimmer, another guy that we all think has great potential and can go as far as he wants to in the sport. Got a brother that runs in Busch Grand National, finished second in Bristol this past weekend.
Chris Wimmer now moves up to the 6th spot. Stremme on the outside of the DuckTexas.com 08 for Casey Smith. But you know what? David Stremme, he's had a couple of wild instances already in this race.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch in the 07 right behind him. Woof.
Here it is, buddy. He goes up and...
Oh, he gets in the outside wall, and that's why he dropped back. He was making a run on the outside. Fourth lane does not work very well.
Great camera work by the MPG crew here for this race. Stremme still on the outside of Casey Smith. Casey, all of 17 years old.
Wow, 17, and really can drive the heck out of a race car. In Texas, they tell me he's unbeatable.
Another 17-year-old just behind him, talking about Kyle Busch in that 07 car. Kyle is making his way through the field after starting way back in this field. We spoke to him at the top of the broadcast, had some troubles in qualifying, but he is moving through the pack already in the top 10.
Kyle Busch absolutely flying in the 07, that blue car. And the one nice part about him, he was not disturbed because he had a bad qualifying, because he knows that he's very, very good in the race.
Kyle Busch started 20th, has really worked his way through the field, trying to become the W.J. Clements Hard Charger Award winner here for the guy that moves the most spots up through the pack. David Stremme in that Meyer machine, still battling, trying to hold off Danny Fredrickson now. Sandy Hank?
Well, right now I just talked to David Stremme's crew chief, Howie Leto. Howie said the car is extremely tight. It was not tight at all yesterday during all their practice and qualification. So David is trying to hang on to that car until they can make an adjustment at the pit stop.
And there is Howie Leto, legendary crew chief here in ASA. A lot of Winston Cup teams have tried to get Howie Leto, but he said, I'm staying here in ASA because I love it.
Yeah, and one racetrack that you do not want the front end of the car to push out towards the outside wall is right here. And David Stremme right now, the front end's taking off on him when he tries to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Very uncomfortable. You have to back off the throttle to make it turn.
One of the guys not backing off the throttle too much is Joey Clanton. He still has the lead over the Sitco 63 for Robbie Pyle, but Robbie is still all over him. Jim Trado?
I just spoke with Robbie Pyle's crew chief Bob Cumbo atop the box taking lap times. He said Joey is right where he wants to be, but Robbie's right where he wants to be. He wants to stay with Joey. They led the practice sessions throughout the day yesterday, each of them respecting how fast they are, talking about the other's speed. Robbie Pyle filing in behind Joey to ride and learn at the point here in Memphis.
Well, as good as these two lead cars are running right now, they're going to have company pretty soon. You see that black dot that's in the back part of that screen there? Kevin Sawinski has turned it up a notch and in third place, catching the leaders as well as they are running.
Oh,
Pyle off the...
Pyle goes on to pit road. Big time troubles for the Sitco team, talking about how well he's running. Well, he is on pit road now. That's got to be a major problem.
Yeah, and I don't see anything wrong with the tires. That's the first thing you look for, is flat tires, but the car looks to be rolling on its own, so that means a major something wrong with the car.
Oh, man, disaster strikes for Robbie Pyle as he pulls into his pit stall. Jim Trado?
Robbie Pyle is coming in. The crew believes it may be the transmission. He has no forward motion. They're getting the jack stands out. It's definitely a driveline related. They may have broken axle. They had an axle problem earlier this year, and Pyle is now in. Thankfully, under caution, he'll lose less time, but there is now fluid pouring out of the back of the car underneath the center section. It looks like the rear end may have gone away on the Sitco's MDA 63.
See Bob Cumbo, Jason Redding, and the guys, Chris Cole pulling to the inside there, but that Sitco team looking underneath that car. That is not a good problem to have.
No, it's not. They can fix it maybe, but he'll be out of contention, I think.
A heartbreaker for Robbie Pyle. Chris Cole, slow for the second time.
His run at Toledo Speedway. Last race, he was battling for fourth on the final lap where he and Jason Boyd got together. Stremme was very disappointed after that race about how the outcome came about because he said, I don't drive that way. Well, he had a chance to talk to Jason Boyd yesterday here this weekend in Memphis. And David, how's it stand between you and Jason right now?
Well, I think we cleared things up last weekend. We talked for an hour after the race, and you know, we got to concentrate on this weekend here at Memphis. We got a very strong car, and hopefully we can keep the Meyer car up front. We're also, you know, one thing we got to look at, we're involved in a points championship chase here and rookie of the battle. So hopefully we can see how things go today.
Well, David Stremmy's been very fast all season long. As the season winds down, he'll have to race with caution and aggression to win the title.
Buddy Stremme a little bit distraught after that one because he says, I don't like to race like that.
Well, you know, and I think it goes back to when he got into Gary St. Amant and won at Salem. You know, he does not drive that way, and he was very disappointed in himself.
Robbie Pyle, heartbreaker for him, Jim Trado.
Robbie Pyle is actually running back to his pit right now. He serves as the team engineer and driver full-time in the shop. He had no warning whatsoever. I said, did you have any clue it would strip out on you? He said, no way. They're 5th in the championship points. They have enough spare parts down here in the Citgo pit. They're making the change now. Pyle has done some measuring. He's getting some more of the brackets on this Hal chassis to put that rear end back in. Again, 5th in points, guys. Every point, every lap counts from here on out.
Absolutely right, Jim. Pyle coming into this race, so about 200 points behind leader Joey Clinton, who is your leader in this race. Second now is the Great Clips machine for Kevin Sawinski. Third, Gary St. Amant. Fourth, Butch Miller. And fifth, Chris Wimmer in the Wisconsin Cheesecake Black 05. But Wimmer with a little bit of a tough restart. Kyle Busch, the hard charger out here, gets the spot. Busch is on the move.
Kyle Busch's car, I mean, it's able to run high and low right now all over Butch Miller. I'm real impressed with Busch right now.
Sandy Heng, how about that 07?
Well, he actually was extremely embarrassed about his qualifying position. He told me after that interview early in the race, this car is a lot better than I qualified it on. And he is showing those results right now.
Oh, he definitely is. I mean, he has marched from 20th spot already into the top 5. He could be a contender for his first ever ASA win.
Well, we thought several times this year when he had great qualifying times that he would win, but usually a great qualifying car is not all that good on a young guy. So right now he worked on the setup for the race, and you can tell that it's paying off right there. A car as good as Butch Miller at this part of the race.
And man, he debuted that Howe chassis blue car right there at Jennerstown, and since then he has run oh so well. He's got 3 top 10s in the past 4 races. Kyle Busch certainly making a name for himself now in ASA.
Well, I think the great part is he's getting so many great opportunities right now to run against some of the best short track guys on earth. Look at Kittleson there in the 30. We hadn't seen him in several weeks from the Orlando area, and the 30 car there, very, very good. And he wins a lot down in Florida.
He does. Travis Kittleson started 14th. He has worked his way up to 8th in the black and silver 30 car. That's a new paint scheme on that machine. That's looking pretty sharp.
Yeah, and I like what he has on the dash. You lift for a second, and that's where you finish.
That's absolutely right. David Stremme just behind him, but Kittleson, a man on the move in that Bob Steele Chevrolet number 30. Kittleson took a little break from action here in ASA, and he's regrouped and running very strong here. Kittleson tested here a week ago, said he has a very, very good car.
You can tell that. He just nailed to the bottom of the racetrack, and right at the moment, as fast as David Stremme. I think Stremme right now has his confidence back, but when you hit the wall like he did earlier in the race, it takes a few laps to get your timing and everything back as you should have it.
Jim Trado, what's up?
Travis Kittleson tested here with 2 cars. This is the older of the 2 in their fleet. I want to point out we didn't get a shot of it, but on the dashboard it says, if you lift for a second, that's where you'll finish. He's very confident in this race car. He also finished 8th here a year ago in his only top 10 run up to the year 2001. So Kittleson very confident heading into today.
You said it, buddy.
Yep. These guys are going at it too. Look back in here. Jason Boyd in the 86 just behind Kittleson. All these guys, they want to be up there right now where Joey Clanton is leading this race.
Jason Boyd just behind him. Still the 17-year-old of Casey Smith started in the top 10. Smith now running 10th, and he is still hanging in there. David Stremme, though, way back there, he's still trying to move through the field, but that car pushing Gary St. Amant. Butch Miller. Butch, man, we have seen this time and time again, buddy. He just kind of hangs in there until the end of the race, and then that man is on the charge.
Father Time, he just sits there, clicks away, and when it comes time, he's always there.
And Butch is a big jokester. I mean, you enjoy really talking to him in the pit area. Jim Trado?
Just speaking with Dion Deneau, the crew chief for Butch Miller, they made an adjustment this morning thinking the track would loosen up. Well, the car is actually very tight right now. It's not turning through the corners the way they like, so they're going to have to make a handle on it. Again, these guys spend a lot of late hours guessing what the track conditions will be on race time. They guessed a little off. They're going to make that adjustment on the pit stop.
Well, Butch Miller's car pushing like a hog, and we all know that hogs cannot turn, buddy.
Oh, boy, you had to bring that up. Anyway, I went down to Butch Miller's car this morning, and I looked at it, and honestly, you could eat out of the inside of that car. Put your food right down on the floorboard of this race car. You want to talk about an immaculate car? Now, that's it, the 04. Well kept.
And you know what's pretty incredible? That team tried to make their ASA debut at this race last year. They are only a year old, and they have already won races, 3 as a matter of fact this year. That guy right there, well, he's
down there, and that's why we're having these cautions, is everybody's fighting to get to the bottom of the racetrack in the middle part of the corner, and when you turn down, if somebody's there, you have a spin out.
Oh, there's a spin out. Whoa. Oh. David Stremme and the 86 of Jason Boyd, the 2 guys that wrecked at Toledo a few weeks ago. Peter Cozzolino in the McDonald 44 also involved with some hard contact for one of the title contenders, David Stremme.
These guys are like magnets. They just find each other on the racetrack. They had a wreck not long ago. Both of them right near the end of the race. Here today, they get together again.
Wow. Big time damage to the Meyer machine and also some damage to the right front. Here it is, buddy.
See him going down in the corner, and he just gets hit by Jason Boyd straight going into turn 3 there, turns him up to the outside wall. Look at this, right into the back.
Wow.
Now, the bad part is he took himself out at the same time.
He did.
Jason Boyd up against the outside wall. Cozzolino, I don't know how he didn't tear that car all to pieces, but he did get slowed down.
And that is going to be some tough damage to repair for the Meyer machine of David Stremme. 86 on pit road.
And your 3rd place car in the point standings is right now, looks like he's out of the race.
Here's what happened to the 2 of them in Toledo on the very final corner. David Stremme with a tap and a whack, as Buddy Baker said, and around he went. Stremme's car caught on fire. He climbed out of that car, said he was very sorry for what he did. Do you think, Buddy, that was a payback?
I don't think so. I just think Boyd got down in the corner very, very hard and hit him at a bad spot.
Sandy.
Hey, they cut the car. Jason's here. What happened, Jason?
You know, I don't really know what happened. I went off into 3, and I was on the brakes, and the car didn't slow down, and I got in the back of David Stremme. You know, I hate it for David and the Jani-King team. These guys worked hard to get us where we were. I think we had some pretty good race car. I just was on the brakes, but it wouldn't slow down.
Looked like Toledo. It looked like Toledo. You can't hear me right now. Frustrated. You can see the team is frustrated as well. There's a lot of damage on this car, and it's questionable whether they can get it back down and away.
Toledo in reverse, Buddy, but no brakes on that car.
That happens. You go down there, you mash down on the brake, nothing happens, and you could see he was like 10 miles an hour faster than the 11 car of Stremme when they made contact, so something happened.
Damage also for Ed Brown. That 60 car right there has got the left front fender a-flapping.
They'll tear that off, and he'll be able to continue on. This is fiberglass bodies on these cars, so they can rip them off and go right on. But aerodynamically, it won't be good.
Oh, and check this out. The ASI Limited 04 on pit road. Jim Trado.
Just talking to Howie Leto and the crew for David Stremme and the Meyer Chevrolet. They're actually working on what they can do to repair the car. They just saw the replay on their pit box. They've got a satellite dish down here. Howie, what did David say? How bad's the car?
Well, he said it looks like it's tore up pretty bad in the right front. I just watched the replay on it here, and it looks like she's tore up pretty bad, so we'll see what we got.
Jason Boyd said he may have run out of brakes going into turn number 3. You guys saw the replay. What do you think?
I don't know what to say there. I mean, probably ran out of brakes or something happened there, because we were running. He was coming through with us, and just got into us going in the corner. So.
Mike McGavick, Perry Cohorn, and the guys.
That was at the end of the race. Here it is, you know, we're not even 50 laps in this race. Takes me out of contention. You know, we're in a points battle right now, and, you know, I can't say enough about my guys. I feel sorry for them. And Meyer and Tony's Pizza, Edie's Ice Cream, Stoker's, Tyson. But this
he claimed it was brakes.
It ain't brakes. I mean, it ain't brakes. Anybody that has any kind of racing knowledge knew what happened out there, you know. I'm not going to stoop to this level. I got my own personal pride, and we're going after a championship, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay, and very obviously upset David Stremme.
Obviously, Buddy, some harsh words there. You heard Jason Boyd's story. You heard David's story. You know, I don't know.
Well, when you work on something for a year, like a championship, and he's a rookie, and he had a legitimate chance, and this really takes him out of contention more or less. He's got to fight really hard to get back just to where he's at now. And naturally you get mad, but I think if something had to happen, I mean, he just went in that corner 15 miles an hour faster than Stremme did.
Jim Trado, what do you know?
Well, David Stremme passed up Dan Fredrickson at one point this season for the Rookie of the Year title chase right now, and Dan Fredrickson's running in the 10th position, looking to gain the most points possible. It's a $50,000 payday at the end of the year for the Pat Sharp Memorial Rookie of the Year. Just talked to Fredrickson's crew. The car is bad loose, but they want to do what the leaders do. They'll pit then and make some major chassis adjustments, but their obviously outlook has improved now as Stremme, unfortunately, out of the picture in this race.
Fredrickson running 10. 70 laps already down. Take a look at where your favorite drivers are running in the live scoring in the upper left-hand part of your screen. And we go back to some sort of semblance here, buddy. Get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, back to green flag racing. Hopefully no more caution for a little while, because going into the corner here has been the subject all week long.
Check out that 67 car of Wade Day. He is having a great run, making his first ever ASA start. Runs Lonesome Pine Speedway in Virginia, where he has won 14 out of 17 races.
Great run right there. David Hull just behind him there in the 0 car. These guys are fighting like they're fighting for the lead.
Well, this is for the 7th spot. Casey Smith and Day having the time of their life and the run of their life. David Hull and Mike Garvey.
Mike Garvey started way, way back in the field, now right up there in contention. Said he had a great car, had some problems in qualifying with the motor itself, but boy, is he flying now.
I said earlier, I asked Mike Garvey, I think, your prediction for today? He says, I'm going to win.
Well, he started out the year with a brand new team, and they've had all kind of trouble this year, but I will tell you one thing, there's not one person out there that has more talent as far as getting through traffic and winning races than Mike Garvey.
Mike Garvey, I asked him how he spent his weekend off last week. He said, I didn't spend it with any time off. I worked on that race car. We stripped it right down to the bare metal and put it back together again.
Yeah, and when he says we, he means he does 90% of the work on that car. He does a tremendous amount of work on it. Every time I go down the garage area, no matter what time of day, he's working on that race car.
Joe Shear Jr., the crew chief on that machine. He will be with Mike Garvey for the remainder of this year. Of course, Joe Shear, the crew chief for Johnny Sauter last year. A lot of work going on that David Stremme mount on pit road.
Yeah, and you see the suspension there. Most of it's being replaced right now because the front end just crumpled under on that car, but they're replacing all the bad parts and trying to get him back in there.
Larry Cohorn right there working on the left front in the garage area. David Stremme taking a look at that machine. Mike McGavick and the rest of that team. Bob Dominichik, Ron Trado, Jim's brother, also involved on that machine, and those guys must be pretty darn distraught. Joey Clanton, well, he's got to be pretty happy. Him, Bon Suss, and the guys on that Campfire USA team, because they are running unbelievable out here today. Joey Clanton, after some troubles, I said he's back on the prowl. That is the truth indeed.
Joey Clanton has a reputation for jousting on the track, banging and bumping, a little pushing and shoving, but aerodynamics are so important here in Memphis. You can't afford to lose a hood or a fender. How are you going to change your driving style to adjust?
Well, I mean, we've done great here in the past. I mean, we won the first year we came here in 2000. Last year finished up 4th. I mean, racetrack's so big, you got enough room. I mean, you shouldn't have to touch nobody. I mean, you're running too fast to really do that. So we just try to keep the nose clean and save the car for the end of the race, and hopefully we'll have a good one for the win.
And Joey thinks if he can keep this body together, he has a chance at the checkered flag.
Well, the chance at the checkered, I would say he's got a pretty darn good chance, buddy.
Oh, that car's a rocket right now. You can see him going by some lap traffic there, down in the corner, right on the bottom of the racetrack, doing everything that he wants that car to do. And one of the only team that we noticed this morning out there practicing 4-tire changes, and really they realize that it's one in the pits just like it is on the racetrack.
Joey Clanton's team, of course, we mentioned 4-tire stops could be very critical, because that will be the only time this year we will see them. And Joey Clanton's crew working time and time again on their pit stops. These guys on the 17 team, the Sequoia team, working very hard too, Jim Trado.
His crew chief is Joe Shear Jr., looking for a second straight win here at Memphis. Of course, the crew chief, the championship team of Johnny Sauter a year ago, winner at Memphis. Mike Garvey made a prediction he may win this race today. What have you guys done to make this car so good?
It's hard to hear you down here, but car's running pretty good. We're a little bit tight. We're probably going to make some changes here at pit stop. I won't have a lightning fast pit stop, but we're going to make some changes here. And hopefully we can get it up front.
Mike Garvey getting up front. Garvey 9th on the track, just behind Georgia guy David Hull in that 0 car, the Whole Shot Motorsports car, and of course Wade Day still having the time.
And he had a little bit of break here and there.
Yeah, we always talk about Kevin Sawinski. Well, so far this year, he's only Kevin Sawinski.
Yeah. I got you.
Joey Clanton, how about this? With the laps he's led here today, has led more laps than any other driver in ASA competition during the past 3 years. Sawinski looking to the inside.
Only lap traffic. He had to back out of it there. Lap traffic on the inside there. Greg Edwards there on the bottom side. All the way from Virginia out here racing for the 26 car there.
And the 89 car of John Webb, they put him a lap down as Clanton and Sawinski continue to march their way through this field. And there we go. Gary St. Amant in the AC Delco car. Well, he's falling back to the 4th spot.
Yeah, he dropped back. He just pulled over and let Kyle Busch in his 07 there just go right on by. Right at the moment, something's not exactly the way I think St. Amant wants it.
Leaders in traffic, Joey and Kevin going by the ATI performance car, the 09 of JC Beatty, putting him a lap down, so they continue to annihilate this field.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Joey Clanton. I think he looked in the mirror and said, oh, somebody's actually here. So right at the moment, they're breaking even around the track.
Yeah, you spoke about shifting early on. Are these guys shifting at this point?
I don't think so. I think right now the two of them are very evenly matched. And I talked to Clanton yesterday in the garage area, and he says, I only use it when I really have to. He said, most of the time I'm in high gear, and if somebody puts a lot of heat on me, I start shifting down the straightaway.
And Joey's nana, his grandmother is here, and we spoke to her yesterday, and she came up to me and said, you know, but Joey is my little angel. He would do no wrong on the racetrack, didn't she?
Well, I don't know about that, but I will tell you that he's a heck of a driver.
Sandy Haig, what's up with the 1?
Well, I'm standing by in the 1 pit. Mike Chaffee, the crew chief, has been clocking lap after lap. Actually, they believe Kevin's car may be a little bit faster if they get that opportunity to get around Joey.
Mike Chaffee there, the crew chief on the 1 machine. Chaffee and Sawinski won the title together back in 1997. And also want to give a shout out for Tracy Sawinski, who is home in Minnesota. She is once again pregnant. So congratulations to Kevin and Tracy, pregnant with their 2nd child. They're going around the 14 car of Doug Malik out of Wisconsin. Sawinski falling a little bit back now.
Sawinski not getting through the traffic quite as well as the leader. It seems like they look up and see Joey Clanton coming, and his past kind of keeps everybody looking for that yellow car. When he comes up behind them, they get out of the way.
But he's a little angel.
But you know what? I will tell you that the last race we had in ASA, Joey Clanton showed me maturity and a guy that's driving for a championship instead of just bulling his way through traffic. And it was his best race that I've watched him all year long.
Joey Clanton is one of the rising stars of this sport, and he is also the BF Goodrich Tires Halfway There Award winner. Joey Clanton, well, he's made it look simple. Just led 100 laps, all of them so far here today.
Yeah, but he's not out there by himself, as you can well see right there. Kevin Sawinski not giving up.
They go around the McDonald's 44 for Peter Cozzolino, the part-time ASA competitor. And man, do they have a lot of traffic to get by, including the 77 car, the Hooters machine, for Bill Clements.
Bill Clements, the only guy that I know of that wears war paint in a race car. Quite a character.
He is a nut, isn't he?
Well, he's fun, I tell you. I always enjoy talking with him, and a very good race car driver, by the way, as he gets lapped right there. But this is only his 2nd ASA start.
Bill Clemens, a former competitor in the Hooters Pro Cup Series. See Joey Clanton making his way by him. Now he's pulling up to the back bumper of Russ Tuttle. But there is Bill Clemens in that Hooters machine. Also the owner of Mike Garvey's Sequoia number 17. And you know what? Clemens is ready to do battle here at ASA.
The debut of ASA race driver Bill Clemens wasn't so pleasant at Jennerstown Speedway, involved in a crash with Peter Coslino, knocking him out early in the race. Well, that battle's now over. Now, Bill, you got another battle on your hands here at Memphis, and I see the war paint's back on.
Well, we're right. The war paint's for the kids. They love it. It's kind of like you see a lot of hype in media about it. That's a big track. I like Memphis. We do well on a big track, so maybe we'll have a little bit different results than we did up Jennerstown. We kind of got tied up there, nose to tail, and but here's a little wide open spaces. You can kind of get in where you want. And you can kind of run and go. So we're all for it. We got the war paint on. We're ready for it.
The initiation's over. It's time to do battle here at Memphis for Bill Clemens in his second ASA start.
Well, Clemens is running 19 in this 200-lap affair. Why is he slowing? That's because Chris Cole has come to a stop.
That is his hat trick for the day. That's the third time that Chris Cole's been around backwards.
Chris Cole has not made too many starts here in ASA competition, trying to learn the ropes, and he's learning them the hard way here at Memphis today. The sixth caution of the day, 105 laps in the record books already here during this event. I want to let you know that Robbie Pyle, the Sitco machine, is back out on the racetrack. So for all you Robbie Pyle fans, he's trying to accumulate those points. Easy for me to say, huh? Joey Clanton in the lead, Kevin Sawinski second, Kyle Busch third, Gary St. Amant fourth, and Chris Wimmer still having a good run in that 05 car. But the guy out in front of this field right now is Jim Hahn. Do you know who Jim Hahn is? He's the ASA pace car driver.
04 working on the outside there, and then back to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to figure out exactly what direction he wants to take. One thing about Butch Miller, though, he will not take himself out making bad mistakes.
And don't forget about Travis Kittleson in the Bob Steele Chevrolet number 30, because he is running second.
Yeah, in the first race of the year this year, led quite a few laps there, and we thought maybe he might have his first ASA win, then went into retirement a little bit for the year and started running around home there, and now he's back with us. Good to see the 30 car of Kittleson back out there.
It is good to see him back. Let's check out where Joey Clanton is running. There he is, that blue and yellow mount for Joey Clanton. 6th on the racetrack for the Campfire USA team.
And just in front of him, Reed Sorensen, a 16-year-old kid, the Legend champion last year in Georgia. So he's got a lot of talent and actually worked with Joey Clanton, owned the Legend cars for several years there. Joey was his crew chief.
How about that? Was his crew chief for a couple of seasons. And Reed Sorensen just won the Legends Championship at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina a couple weeks ago. Here comes Joey on his back bumper. No, now to the inside, and Reed says, go ahead.
Crew chief takes the position there.
The 07 trouble for him. You saw Tim Schmidt had spun there on the edge of pit road, but that is him right there in the TMS landscape car. Some trouble again for Tim Schmidt on the racetrack, but also trouble for the 07 car of Kyle Busch. Man, he was running so well.
Kyle Busch all the way up to 4th place before this last caution. We have David Hull there with a lot of damage to the right rear corner.
More trouble on the racetrack. The 7th caution of the day. As you can see, the rear deck lid kind of flying off.
Yeah, that's just a trunk lid, and there's not a lot of damage. As I look at the car, the trunk lid's flying up on it, but that's it.
Boy, David's been running well, but man, he's got the kidney stones. He wrecked here, and now he's got the rear deck lid coming up.
Did you see golf club flying? No, never mind.
He's got something in there, doesn't he? I don't think crew chief Gene
Roberts. A little gray
Roberts
tape will take care of that as he comes in the pits.
He will come down to the service of Gene Roberts and the Whole Shot Motorsports crew, but the caution flies again. No, just about 80 laps to go, and this has been pretty darn interesting, buddy.
Yeah, and I see David Hull going on around the racetrack.
David Hull, you see him there in the blue car. Butch Miller, your leader. Travis Kittleson second. So
here he looks under Butch Miller as they go down the corner, and you see all these guys back here nose to tail as they fight their way through the corner.
You see Miller, then Kittleson. The red car that is next is Robbie Pyle in the Sitco 63. He is many laps down. There is Joey Clanton trying to get by Todd Cleaver. That the battle for 5th on the racetrack. Clanton and Cleaver duking it out.
Yeah, Clanton got under Cleaver there and almost had the pass made. And I will tell you that Cleaver did not give up. He fought back.
You see Clanton on the inside. The 07 of Kyle Busch, we're being told, has been black flagged for speeding on pit road. Reed Sorensen getting by the 55 car.
If Reed Sorensen will just sit behind Joey Clanton and follow him up through the traffic here, he's got a good chance of going right on up in there, because you know that Joey Clanton's on his way back to the front.
Clanton is 4th, Sorensen 5th. Cleaver, and take a look at Greg Stewart. Stewart running 7th, trying to get 6th. Great run for the Hanchett Manufacturing. Oh, look at this. Kittleson on the inside of Butch Miller.
Wow, how many times do you see this? A guy rejoins ASA in the 30 car there, Kittleson. They tell me he is a terror in Florida, and I believe it. What a talent.
Wow, there he goes. Oh!
That wasn't talent.
Oh, Claire just escapes. Wow.
And that was certainly not on purpose. What happened there is he just got in there so hot that he lost the back end and got up into Butch and took Butch Miller with him.
You can see Joey Clanton moving his wheels back and forth. He just narrowly escaped that one, checking his car out to see if there is any damage. And holy moly, the battle for the lead. Kittleson on the inside. Here we go.
You watch right here as he picks the throttle up the back, gets over, and just hits right into Butch Miller, and both cars spin, and here comes a lot of traffic behind them. Sawinski goes down in the one car, gets by.
Oh. There was a little contact between Clanton and Kittleson as he tried to escape that one.
I think Joey Clanton has some damage to the right side of his car as they come down. You see the 83 there right against the inside wall. Oh, I see a little bit of metal fly up.
Oh boy, pit road not open, but Joey Clanton has to come down. Looks like he's got a right rear flat.
Yeah, and you can see the right side of the car is flat almost.
Jim Trado?
Well, the crew's putting on right side tires as if it's a standard change. You mentioned the flat right side tires. You notice have wheel marks on the side of his BF Goodrich Traction TAs. They're trying to pull the fender out now, tape up the door panel on the Campfire USA Chevy. The whole crew surveying the right side of the car. Primary concern for what was a dominant race car and leader.
You can see Chad Orr still has the jack up. Gil Edwards, Philip McRae, and the rest of the guys. There is the busted wheel on that one. Sandy Hank?
Well, you're also looking at Travis Kittleson's crew servicing that car and also trying to fix some of the body damage. Oh, and the gas man, the tank goes over. They've lost fuel down here. See him under the car. Question is, can they get it done quickly? And it sure doesn't look like it.
You can see the entire crew looking underneath the car. Butch Miller also on pit road. Jim Trado?
There is airbox damage on Butch Miller's ASI Limited Chevrolet. They ripped the hood off. It was held on by just a single hood hinge, and now Butch dejectedly turns the motor off to let the crew work on what is the airbox. That's the primary intake for any air getting in the engine. These electronic fuel injected cars need that airbox to work 100%, so they're going to try to tape that back up. Butch thought he might have had the race won with pit strategy. Now he's in the pits, losing valuable time here as the crew goes to work on that front air dam, that airbox area, to seal off the air to the motor on this high-speed racetrack.
Ken Twining and the guys working on that car. Butch, of course, does not run for points, buddy.
No, but I guarantee you one thing. He's not a happy camper right now because Kittleson, you know, very anxious to take the lead away from Butch Miller. Got in the corner very, very hot and really just lost the back end and took Butch right with him.
Butch goes right around this 30 car. You saw as Travis Kittleson, as he comes to a stop on the exit of pit road, Travis Kittleson does. Here's another look.
As he picks the throttle up, you can see the back of the car just get out from under him there, and he gets into Butch Miller, and along comes the 83, the points leader. Right here, they make contact, and quite a bit of damage to the right side of Joey Clanton's car.
Joey on pit road again. Chad Orr brings the jack to the right side of that. The crew looking underneath the right rear end of the car. Ooh, Steve Upshaw, you can see our cameraman walking over there, and Jim Trado checking out things as well. You can see Rusty Clanton trying to help out. Bon Suss, the crew chief right there on the Campfire USA team, and they're just making sure everything's okay there.
You know, I think I want to talk to Gary Sanum. 33, nothing but trouble this year, but he's turned it up a notch today. I know he's got to be smiling right now because that's the best run he's had all year long. And right now, he didn't inherit third. He earned it. He's worked his way up through traffic.
Did you check that out? Every time the 33 car goes by the camera, you can see those big old white teeth smiling. Oh, trouble for Peter Cozzolino. He gets shoved up the racetrack, tries to rejoin the field. Here comes Danny Fredrickson, Hollywood Dan on the inside of Todd Cleaver in some 3 abreast battles. John Webb, Doug Malik, and Peter Cozzolino, Chad Wood there, also in the Wisconsin Dells Motor Speedway number 2.
Every once in a while, you wish you could talk to a driver. I'd like to tell Peter Cozzolino that 3rd lane up there, that's for looking at, not to drive on.
Yeah, definitely. Greg Stewart running 3rd. Jim Trano, great run for him.
He started about 24th, Bob, and Eddie Stanley, the crew chief on Greg Stewart's car. What did you guys do on the stop to get you such great track position?
We just took 2 tires and filled up with gas. We had a great car. We messed up qualifying. So I made the call, so I'll either be a 0 or hero when this is over. But Greg said the car's great, so we just hang on a few more laps.
They were so worried about making the 2-tire stop, they forgot to give Greg a very important thing, a water bottle to get him cooled off. He's pretty hot in the car right now.
Greg's a big boy, got plenty of muscle. He'll certainly steer that car around this racetrack. Eddie Stanley, Ken Hansley, the 2 guys that work on that car, they'll be heroes no matter what because they've had a lot of hard work to do because Greg Stewart has had a tough year.
Good old North Carolina boy. You can see the muscles sticking out on them arms as he goes in there in 3rd place right now. And really, Sawinski not pulling away that quickly.
Sawinski in the Texas Roadhouse number 1. He's showing his muscle out there, but can he hold off the folks like Reed Sorensen?
There it is. There's the war right there.
Todd Cleaver, Dan Fredrickson in that mix there, Casey Smith in the DuckTexas.com 08, and Mike Garvey, the muscle man in the Sequoia number 17, also involved. Cleaver 4th, but you know what? He might not be 4th for long because here comes Casey Smith. What's up, Sandy?
Well, right now, Casey Smith was telling me before the race he would really like to win one, and not only win one, win it this weekend, because it is his crew chief, Alex Query's 30th birthday, and he is on the radio talking to him right now, trying to strategize. This team is cheering down here. Great run for Casey Smith.
Well, they should cheer. I guarantee you one thing, because Freddie Query, one of the best short track drivers in the United States, is his father, Alex. I mean, here we watch him every week go out and win races. His son, crew chief on this car, they've been together 3 races, and quite frankly, Alex told me we should have won all 3 races if we hadn't had some problems.
Certainly a lot of knowledge in that Query family. You saw Alex on top of the box, and that tobacco is foul uniform on. Jim Trado, what do you got?
I've got a very hot Russ Tuttle. It's very warm on the racetrack. Unfortunately, it was a problem with the race car. It sounded like you were going to soldier on and make the day of it.
Yeah, we were going to make the best of the day. It's just we broke a drive shaft. It's just been one of them weekends, you know, nothing seems to go right. We fixed it, we thought, went back out and it broke again, so we're back in the garage.
How are you doing physically? I know you had Glenn standing by if you needed him.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. They gave me all these high-dollar deals to keep me cool, and none of them worked. So I had to go take the helmet out and put my Earnhardt helmet back on, and at least I got some air that away. So I was going to be okay. It's just too bad for the car.
Better luck at the fair, Russ.
Hey, thanks.
Of course, Jim Trado, speaking of the Minnesota State Fair race next week on Monday for ASA, the caution comes out again. Brian Schwartz, the 9th caution of the day for the 66 U.S. Marines car in the 4th turn wall. You can see the thumbs up by the safety crew. That's to let us know that Brian is okay inside that race car, and Brian Schwartz day comes to an end.
Brian Schwartz from Countryside, Illinois.
An Illinois boy.
Yeah, Illinois.
Greg Stewart, a 4 Oaks, North Carolina boy. You ever been up to 4 Oaks?
You know, I watched some of the stuff we had on him last year, and he wanted to be a rodeo star at one time, but I watched him ride the horse. He better stick to driving the car.
He's still mad at us for showing him almost falling off that horse. Certainly not falling off the horse here today, though, because Greg Stewart's still running 3rd and running very, very well in that body balance number 33 car. You see Kyle Busch is back out on the racetrack. Rick Beebe there in the Collis Equipment number 5 car. A brand new race car is that Howe machine, and he's running fairly well on the racetrack in the 5th.
And I'll guarantee you Kevin Sawinski wants to get on with it now with just less than 40 laps to go here. He needs to put as much distance as he possibly can on that 83 there. Joey Clanton fighting on the outside, trying to get as many cars on this restart as he can.
Well, he already got 2 cars. He's already by David Hull and Chris Wimmer, almost by Todd Cleaver. Yes, he is. Here comes Danny Fredericks, and his next target. Wow.
David Hole almost went all the way to the wall there in that 0 car. Lost the back end, almost got the outside wall.
Holy moly, 35 laps to go. Hole shot up the racetrack, but here comes Joey. You see Jennifer Wilkerson looking at her driver. Happy birthday to Jennifer today here in Memphis.
Joey Clanton already up to 7th right now and really pulling down on the leaders. He passes on outside, inside. There is no preferred line for the 83 of Joey Clanton.
This is his type of situation. Joey is a hard charger, and he's just eating them alive.
Mike Garvey there in the 17 feels the pressure now as Joey Clanton closes in on the back of that race car.
Mike Garvey 5th, Joey Clanton up to 6th, and you know what? Garvey and Clanton have had a little bit of a history here in ASA this year.
Yeah, there's no Christmas cards between these two. I'll promise you that as they fight side by side down the... Now, lap traffic has a lot to play here. You see just in front of them, but the nice part is everybody's running about the same speed as Clanton pulls. About a half a car length on Garvey. Now a full car length, he's by.
Clanton is now 5th. Maybe not. Mike Garvey back on the outside. Just in front of them, the 08 of Casey Smith, 4th. Greg Stewart in the body balance car, 3rd.
Joey Clanton, though, you can see the car is really quick, but right now they have traffic there, and they're fighting for position just like Joey Clanton is, so nobody's going to pull over and say, Joey Clanton, you can have it.
Greg Stewart and Joey Clanton, well, they also got into it last year at Nashville. In fact, Greg Stewart threw a cooler at Joey Clanton.
How about 3 wide down the front straightaway? Joey Clanton on the inside there.
Wow, Mike Garvey. He's got some guts.
Joey Clanton's got a lot of guts, but a lot of driving ability also. When you make it 3 wide like that, you better know what you're doing.
Joey Clanton says bye-bye to Casey Smith. Now he says bye-bye to Greg Stewart. Joey Clanton up to 3rd, but with 31 to go and a big gap between he and Kevin Sawinski. Can he catch him? There is his mom saying, go, son, go.
Well, one thing about it, you can see now he's put about a 5-car length lead on the cars he was fighting door handle to door handle with just a second ago.
Mom there calls Joey Joseph Daniel anytime he does anything wrong. Nothing wrong for Joey Clanton today. He has run a great race with the exception of getting caught behind a little bit when he got hit by Travis Kittleson and Butch Miller in the wreck when they were battling for the lead. Take a look at this, a great battle. Casey Smith on the inside of Greg Stewart for the 4th spot.
Casey Smith now half a car length, but Greg Stewart on the outside there fights back as they're side by side down the back straightaway still.
Oh, and how about this? Casey and Greg are the 2 drivers that got into it at Toledo 2 weeks ago. Stewart pushes up like a hog.
But you go ahead. And these guys are right now, everybody's running very, very close in this pack that we're watching. But Garvey, I thought, would go a little quicker as he started up towards the front, but right now he's just mired up.
Garvey goes to the inside of the 33, the Sequoia number 17, works his way up past Greg Stewart. Stewart fights back on the outside. This is great racing.
I mean, these guys go at it every time there's a pass, but if I was Greg Stewart, I would try to get my car down on the low side of the racetrack if I possibly could, because right there you can see Garvey gets a little run, and here comes Greg back on the outside. These guys are fighting side by side and actually losing a lot of ground to the guys that just passed them.
A couple of cars behind that battle. You see the 21, the Great Clips car of Dan Fredrickson, but Gary St. Amant second in points. He's trying to work his way back through the field running 8th.
And Gary St. Amant, although he's running 8th right now, cannot be pleased with the performance of this car because he was way out in front of Clanton there at one time. Clanton went up past him, and they're fighting it out for the points. And Gary St. Amant right now, car not up to speed.
Not a great car. He didn't have a good car at Toledo, finished 12th there. And Gary said it really bothered him during the past 2 weeks. Of course, we had a weekend off from ASA competition. He said he was pretty frustrated.
Well, you can see it's a good car, but not a great car. And if you're going to beat Joey Clanton, you have to have a great car.
Gary told us it's the worst 2 weeks of his life. He was glad to get back to racing. The leaders, Kevin Sawinski and Reed Sorensen, with 24 laps to go.
Well, Reed Sorensen's in a big pack of trouble right now. He's got a good car, but that 83 car has pulled down some 25 car lengths in the past 4 laps. And right now, right behind Reed Sorensen, as you see these guys still fighting it out. Chris Wimmer there on the inside, down in the corner. Greg Stewart on the outside. still hadn't got that car to be able to run on the bottom part of the racetrack.
Stewart's going to the back. There is Kevin Sawinski, the Great Clips #1. And he's coming up on some lap traffic. Greg Williams in the 10 and also Ed Brown. Wow, that was, he caught them pretty quick.
And right now you can see here comes Joey Clanton's car is a bullet up out of the corner there. Reed Sorensen couldn't do a thing about it. He tried to fight back but couldn't.
Looked like a little tap between the 83 and the 29 as Mama Clanton looks on. She looks a little bit nervous.
Well, she knows that now the rope gets a little slicker as you get closer to the top. Right now, Kevin Sawinski does have a great car. It's two great cars against each other with only 21 laps to go.
Sawinski trying to pick up his second victory of 2002. That way we could call him 7 Sawinski. Actually, no, it'd only be 2. But Sandy Hank, what do you got?
Well, actually, they know. Kevin knows that Joey is charging through the field. They've told him, keep it up, and step it up if you can. There is no question that Kevin Sawinski knows how powerful Joey's car is, and he is aware of it. But they say he is not going to give up this lead or this race without a fight.
The one thing Sawinski has to realize, Clanton has the newer of the tires out there. That could be an advantage.
The fight is
a lot of time to Sawinski. Sawinski right now running as well as he possibly can with the older tires. Clanton has better tires, but those slides like he just had, hey, that could take away your good tire.
Jim Trado.
I'm here with Bon Suss, Joey Clanton's crew chief. Does he have enough time to catch him? And does he have any problems in the car? I understand there may be a problem.
The car's really good. I mean, he's really driving the heck out of it right now. We missed one shift and stuff, but we need a caution. There's just too much track time. That spin didn't help us in getting that flat tire. So we'll take second, though. The guys did an awesome job fixing the car, making sure if we end up second, it's a good point day for us. Joey's doing an awesome job. He'll give it if he's got it.
Well, Joey Clanton is racing with some promptitude right now because he is ready to attack if some lap traffic comes into play.
And you just heard his crew chief tell you that he missed a shift just a second ago. That's not good for a car. Right now, though, less than 15 car lengths on those two cars. And let me tell you, Joey Clanton's coming.
He is coming, racing that car to its limit. 9 to go. There is third place, the Sequoia machine for Mike Garvey. Fourth place, the RacingRadios.com 29 for Reed Sorensen. Garvey has gotten the spot, but he ain't going to catch Clanton with 9 or 8 laps to go.
No, unless he's got a rocket somewhere in that car that we didn't see, because right now, Clanton is there, and you see the traffic right there getting in the corner there. Sawinski had a little bit of problems. Clanton down to about 5 car lengths now.
Never say never. Joey Clanton pulling up to the back bumper of the Great Clips 1, and the battle, the war is on.
3 car lengths now as they head down the back straightaway. 7 laps to go. Clanton is there.
Oh boy, after getting squirrely there coming off the corner, maybe took a lap to cool his tires as we listen to Bon Suss radio into Joey Clanton.
Well, right now all stops are out. He's shifting, trying to catch right now. Both very good drivers. Now it's up to, I think with the slides and all, the tires are very even right now. But I will tell you, Joey Clanton looks unbeatable right now. But he's still got to get by Sawinski. That's not going to be easy.
Oh boy, we just saw the Campfire USA team, Mark Ashcraft and Jody Wilkerson taking a look, and that crew looked a bit serious as here comes Clanton on the back bumper, glued to the Great Clips machine.
Now, would you say Clanton would just sit there and ride it out for points? Not a chance in this world. I will tell you that he goes into every race trying to win.
5 to go. Actually coming off the 4th corner now. 4 to go.
You know, the one thing I noticed, though, he got there, and all of a sudden he quit gaining. Maybe a little arrow push? Oh, if he does, I don't know. A little push and shove there.
Forget about the arrow push. Joey Clanton pushes Kevin Sawinski as they try to make their way around Peter Cozzolino, and that was the key to that push. They were making their way around the lap car.
Exactly right. I think a little check up there, and Clanton was dead in the throttle. Certainly didn't mean to do it, but I will tell you that got Sawinski up on the edge of that seat. He'll have to drive by him now. He won't be able to punch him out of the way. He'll be looking for it.
Crew Chief Mike Chaffee and tire specialist Jason Miner on that one team. 3 to go. They're looking to see if Kevin Sawinski can hold off Clanton, and this is a classic battle here in ASA. Short track, short temper, all attitude. This is the best that it gets in the short track world.
Got that right. And both these guys fighting it out for points and for the win today. Both of them up there in the top 5. Clanton, your points leader. Sawinski right there.
Yellow's out. Use your hand signals. Yellow's out, Joey.
Well, there you go. Mike Chaffee tells us yellow is out. Actually, that was Bonsus.
Well, one thing about it, it won't end under the yellow in ASA. We'll have some more racing, guys.
Racing has to end under green flag conditions here in ASA. That's the rule. That's how it goes. And that's how we will have the end of this race. So it ain't Garvey who still runs third. Tough day for the war man, the guy with the paint on his face.
Well, the good part is he's getting out on his own there.
Producer Tommy Gee says don't.
And I don't think he'll give him that break again if they do make contact.
The spotlight is on these two guys right there and that crew, Mark Lloyd and the boys of the Campfire USA team. Mike Reesop and the guys of the Great Clips team. Go, here we go.
And down in the corner, Joey Clanton actually was under Sawinski. Sawinski chops down across the front of him as they come off turn 2. You can see right now Joey Clanton says, okay, war is on. They make a little contact down the back straightaway. Clanton is there.
It's time to go. Joey Clanton and Kevin Sawinski side by side. Joey sideways.
And Sawinski fighting back as they're still side by side as they take the white flag down in turn 1. Just a little bit. You see right there. Oh, trouble on the front straightaway.
Oh, my gosh. A flip on the front stretch. That's Chris Wimmer on his lead in the Wisconsin Cheesecake 05. But Joey Clanton's got the lead.
Greg Stewart up against the outside wall. There's stuff all over the front straightaway. These guys need to stop. Slow down here. Joey Clanton's coming.
Joey Clanton wins here in Memphis. Going by the flip car of Chris Wimmer. Greg Stewart also in the wall. The Campfire USA team celebrating, but we have a big accident and debris all over the front stretch.
That's Wimmer's car right there up against, you can see right there, he comes out of the car.
Good
Hooray,
to see.
That's good to see.
Wow, good to see Chris Wimmer walk out of that one with his car flipped on the front stretch. Greg Stewart still up against the wall, but Joey Clanton is coming off the 4th corner.
Peter Casalino in the 44 right there spins around.
Whoa.
And a lot of trouble behind him back there. His car's got to the outside wall. Chris Wimmer's car slides down the racetrack on the lid. You see it upside down there, just sliding along.
Wow.
And I'll tell you one thing, the leaders were coming through there wide open, and there's pieces of metal everywhere on the front straightaway. See Mike Garvey in the 17 car parked there.
Wow, that's tough. Mike Garvey pulling into winner's circle. Sandy Hank.
Chris Wimmer just shook it off, walked right out of the car. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're sure you're fine?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was just a wild ride.
What happened out there?
I'm not sure. I don't know if the spotter didn't say anything or what, but it just all of a sudden I was up and over.
It was all right in front of you. What were you thinking? You were sliding on the top, down the front stretch, across the checkered,
Well, the top 10 in points, 3rd today. Gary St. Amant, 4th in points. He remains, 4th on the grid today. Still 2nd in points. Reed Sorensen with a good top 5.
Great run for Reed. And Casey Smith got caught up in that wreck at the end there, but had a great run, top 5 most of the day.
Craig Stewart also involved there. He and Chris Wimmer were running in the top 10 all day long. Boy, that was a circus there at the end. Couldn't tell which way was going the right way. We are going the right way to the Minnesota State Fair next week here on TNN in St. Paul. It'll bring a whole new meaning to the phrase, meet me at the fair. That's Monday, September 2nd, 12 midnight.